Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show, and today we're talking about Halloween Kills, in particular, Jamie Lee Curtis on advertising Halloween Kills. Because I'm not sure if everyone remembers, but Jamie Lee Curtis chose to bring in modern day real world politics into the advertising campaign for Halloween Kills. And now that we, the viewers, have watched the movie, we now have the full context of what Jamie Lee Curtis was trying to say. And honestly, I think that she really did make herself look like a fool. And while I do prefer to remain politically ambiguous because this channel is entertainment revolving around film and video games, I do, however, want to speak about this subject because I think political ambiguity in certain situations is really important. And I think the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis brought this up shows that she is a fool. She also is a rich, wealthy, famous person that can make money on her name alone, that she doesn't understand political struggles of regular average everyday people like us, and that is why she should just remain silent, especially when she's promoting a film. So yeah, when it comes to politics, I guess you could say when it comes to the wealthy and famous, they should shut the fuck up and just make their movies and not try to relate their movies to modern day politics, something that they don't understand when it comes to regular average people that don't wipe their ass with $100 bills every day. And that is a hill I'm willing to die on. But now that she's not promoting a film, now she's, I guess, preparing to do Halloween Ends. But before she gets to that, I really do think that it is time for her to answer for this. And with that, I'm going to roll the clip.
All of the people that suffered the trauma, and 20 the Halloween Kills movie is about a mob. So what I will tell you is that what we were seeing around the country of the power of the rage of voices, big groups of people coming together enraged at the set of circumstances, that's what the movie is. The movie is about a mob. And so it's very interesting because it takes on what happens when trauma infects an entire community. And we're seeing it everywhere with the Black Lives Matter movement. We're seeing it in action. And Halloween Kills, weirdly enough, dovetailed onto that, preceded it. It was written before that occurred. But then, of course, so when you see it, it's a seething group of people moving through the story as a big, angry group. It's
Oh, wow.
really,
I'm ready
really,
for it.
really, really, really intense. It's a masterpiece.
Oh,
That's what
wow.
I'm saying.
What a great idea. And also how fun just for you to have that reunion of,
Well, of
those
course,
people from
because
1978.
right. And it was just because trauma isn't just Lori's, it was the entire community. It was the police officers, it was the little children. And that's, to me, by the way, that's all the genius of David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. It's all their construction. And again, I want to remind everybody, it was pre Black Lives Matter movement. And yet the same activity takes over in Halloween Kills.
There's just so much shit I can laugh at in this video. Whether it's calling Halloween Kills a masterpiece when honestly it's a low mid. It's not as bad as the worst, but it's pretty low on the mids. And honestly, some people may call it a mid. I can understand that. It's definitely interesting in its own right. So if you call it a mid, I understand. But to actually say that this is a masterpiece, that this is in like the top 3 of Halloween movies, honestly, I can't relate. So I find that fucking hilarious that she actually calls it a masterpiece. I mean, you honestly do have to be full of shit, and that's what these Hollywood types are. They're just mostly full of shit. And for for Jamie Lee Curtis to be this full of shit, now that we have the context with having seen the film, to get into what she's saying in regards to comparing the shithead mob to Black Lives Matter is crazy to me because we know what Jamie Lee Curtis's politics are. By how much she talks about politics and constantly spews her bullshit, you would obviously assume that politics, her politics, are as important to her as her name. But I think it's really important to really let people know this, that people who are as wealthy and as well known as Jamie Lee Curtis, or even more wealthy and more known than Jamie Lee Curtis, they don't know what it's like to struggle. Jamie Lee Curtis was born into a wealthy family. She was born to two actors, both in some of the most iconic films of their time, like Tony Curtis in Some Like It Hot or Janet Leigh in Psycho. And I was just watching The Many Saints of Newark, and Ray Liotta's character was saying how, like, pain is want. Most of the pain that we do have comes from wanting something, if it be something physical or something like emotional. And honestly, most of our wants are physical things that we do want. I mean, we always have that struggle of the next thing that we want to get, if it be a video game or if it be like a movie or this new TV or this new phone. Like we always want something, and most of our wants are connected to physical things. And someone like Jamie Lee Curtis has never known what it's like to actually want something because she's always been surrounded by money. And you obviously know that most people don't tell this woman no, right? Like, she's Jamie Lee Curtis, she's honestly a great actress, I can give her that, and she's been in some great things, and she's at the stage now, especially more than ever, where nobody tells Jamie Lee Curtis no. Jamie Lee Curtis has no idea what it's like to be one of us. People may not understand or believe it, but it's the truth. When you look back on who she is, who she was born to, how wealthy she's always been, there has been nothing relatable when it comes to everyday people politics to her. And for her to actually relate the mob in Halloween Kills to BLM, look, I'm not taking a stance on BLM. I'm simply looking at the mob in Halloween Kills. And we know what Jamie Lee Curtis's politics are, and we know that she clearly does support Halloween Kills and she supports BLM. And so for her to compare those two when we've seen the movie and we know that this mob is completely out of control to the point where they go after someone they think is Michael Myers when clearly this person is not Michael Myers. He is like a completely different build from Michael Myers, but this mob is so enraged they just want blood, and it causes them to go after this individual in a hospital, and this only individual's way out is literally to jump off of the hospital out of the hospital building and kill themselves. The only thing I can honestly relate it to, and as an ex-New Yorker, is honestly 9/11, when people were choosing how they wanted to die, essentially, to the fire in the building or jumping out of the window of, like, the 60th story of the building. Like, that was their decision, and that was the similar decision that this individual who was mentally ill had to make, whether to be beaten to a bloody pulp by a mob that was after them or to jump to their death. Then, inevitably, at the end of the film, the mob ends up fighting Michael Myers and they are thought to have won, but then Michael Myers gets up and slays them all. And then, on top of it all, this mob, to basically add insult to injury, this mob is led by a white man. Yes, a a mob in a film that Jamie Lee Curtis relates to Black Lives Matter is essentially the leader being a white man. I don't know, guys. It sounds absolutely insane to me, especially looking back at it now. And honestly, Jamie Lee Curtis should have to answer for this, but unfortunately, with a media that is literally just there to defend rich liberal white people till death, to actually get some form of answer to why she thought that this is okay is, yeah, it's not gonna happen. But that's why I bring it up, guys. Keep this shit in mind because these people act like they're your fucking friend, but they're not your fucking friend. When the world goes to shit and everyday people like you or me are literally fighting for the last grain of salt, for the last grain of rice out there, Jamie Lee Curtis and many others just like her be in their nice tall towers looking down at us fight like we're animals, and they're wealthy and they're secure. They'll always be okay no matter what situation because the government and all these companies set them up that way. Like George Carlin always said, it's a small club and you ain't in it, But overall, guys, I do hope that more people bring this up because it is an issue in Hollywood. These people act like they're your friends, but they're not. Jamie Lee Curtis will act like she believes in all this shit, but she doesn't. Honestly, politics for these sorts of people are just ways to try and relate to us. That's really what it is. Like, they want to let you know that they have a pulse, even though it's barely there. I mean, having no real struggles in life other than fake shit that they have to make up, because money solves most things. But to rich people and that are famous like Jamie Lee Curtis, they use politics, they use advocacy just as a way to try and relate to us, to try and act like they still have a pulse, like they can be just like us and support the same things. And yeah, it's just a tool. But don't take my word for it, guys. Just listen to what Jamie Lee Curtis herself said. I mean, the film Halloween Kills is not taking a political stance here because specifically the film was made before the George Floyd situation even occurred. Like they were done filming beforehand. So it's not like they're trying to mimic Black Lives Matter in any way. No, it just happened it just literally happened to be that way. And despite Jamie Lee Curtis's support, she thinks that Black Lives Matter is no different from the mob in Halloween Kills. So take from that what you will, guys. I mean, I'm not really taking a political stance. I'm just looking into what Jamie Lee Curtis believes and what she said. But please, guys, form your own conclusions on the subject. I'm not here to lead anyone down any certain way. I'm here just simply bringing this shit up. I just think that people in Hollywood should be more like Michael Fassbender, the guy that you literally don't know anything about him besides the fact he's married to another actress, and he basically had a bromance with James McAvoy while making the X-Men movies. That's literally all I know about my favorite actor. And in my opinion, despite the fact that he's so super talented, I think the main reason why he's able to fit in any role that he does is because he's so ambiguous as a person. He's not a super big advocate into anything. Obviously, I'm sure he has his political stances and shit, but whatever those political leanings are, he doesn't let them get in between him being able to do his job. And unfortunately, there are so many actors out there that are so ridiculously polarizing that either you end up supporting them because of their political leanings or you refuse to watch their film because of their political leanings. And by that time, the film itself is lost. Like, there's nothing, you don't talk about the film anymore. It's just about this actor and their politics, and that takes away from the art of film itself. But yeah, guys, that's the video. If you can, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me over on Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. Link is in the description. With all that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.